go live or if I'll have to reboot that one. No, it says Facebook's going live. Cool.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, check that out. Steam Deck Persona 5. It actually runs really well. Like really, really well.
I don't know, man. I've been blistering through the world of Persona 5 on a sub 720 display, 30 frames per second on my Nintendo Switch. So
But it's an OLED, right?
True, but I mean, yeah, it's you can only really experience those like 500p assets on the Nintendo Switch. It's a special experience. What are you running it on for your Steam Deck? What do you have the settings at?
Max, basically.
Okay, nice.
So I think it's probably a good time to actually start the podcast since we're live and we're talking.
Might as well, yeah. It's an extended intro test.
There you go. This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris. This is the CHRILLCAST live, I should say. And we have a guest today, so it's not just me.
It's true. Hello, everybody. My name is Spencer Megami Tensei Presley. I also host a weekly game podcast and other shenanigans on YouTube. The podcast is all about Atlas, SMT, Persona, called Shin Megami Tensei Network. And as Chris is lovely showing, sometimes I show off Atlas things, and then sometimes I play cross-dressing boy games on YouTube. So it really just depends on what mood we're in.
Which one's the cross-dressing boy game?
Click the arrow to the left one more time. I'm surprised you had to ask.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Never mind. That is very obvious. Never mind. I don't know why I even asked that question.
Yeah. Oh, the Digimon distracted you clearly. You saw the Digimon.
I like Digimon. Look, Digimon, Digital Monsters. That was one of my favorite. Remember the Digimon movie?
Do I remember it? I think about it at least once a week. And not even for anything that's in the movie, Chris. I'll have you know, I only remember it because it had one of the earliest memories I've had ingrained into my brain of the bare naked ladies.
Wait.
So in the movie, because remember the Digimon movie in America is the first 3 Digimon movies edited together to try and make sense.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so what's funny about that is also none of the licensed songs from Japan are there, so they were just filled with whatever was hot in the early 2000s / late 90s. And so there's just a scene in the middle of the movie where they're doing an exposition shot just showing Japan, and then you hear just, it's been 1 week.
Oh, you're right. I totally forgot the song's in there.
It's got a wild soundtrack. And the best part is if you look up on Spotify or Apple Music, that's the only song from the Digimon movie soundtrack that's still streamable.
That's amazing. I did not realize that. You know, speaking of the Digimon movie, Digimon was such a much deeper and better show than Pokemon. You know, I just want to really grind that into people's
brains.
Chris,
I've got breaking news for you. Digimon is back. It's now more adult than ever, but it's weirdly gotten way more popular in the last 3 years than I would have ever thought 20 years ago.
Honestly, I was very sad growing up knowing that Digimon was never going to be as big as Pokemon, but now here we are, and I'm an adult, and it is right there in the limelight again. So that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm sharing it. No selfless plug here. I'm gonna be very selfish and post to the Shin Megami Tensei Network group right now.
As you should. Yeah, you're on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get people to watch it. I mean, if I wasn't so lazy, I would be smart and use that group of 10,000 people to just stream it live on there. But I am too dumb for that.
I'm writing. We are streaming on YouTube. Spencer is with me.
We got to get you to post this on Twitter yet. I don't think you've posted on Twitter.
I have not. I'm really bad about doing that. Because nobody cares that when I go live. Unlike Spencer when he has 5 boxes of Persona to unbox.
That's true. I appreciate. I had one person on Facebook be like, "Wow, way to flex on all of us." This person doesn't know. They're like, "Yeah, this person doesn't know the value of working a full-time job." Clearly, and I'm like, I cannot tell you how poor I actually. I bought $180 of Persona 5 yesterday out of my own credit card debt. So trust me, guys, I am far from in the black here.
Honestly, it's funny how much money people think you have just because because we buy frivolous things.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not doing anything to I'm clearly not doing anything to help dissuade that, but yeah, it is always fun.
I'm just gonna write live chat Persona with SMTN, and here's the YouTube link. I'm putting it in here right now just for you, Spencer. I already tagged you, and be there or be Philemon.
Be a butterfly, everybody.
There you go. I just tagged you.
Thanks,
all right,
and I'm sharing it on my end as well.
Yeah, you know why I said be Philemon? Because he's not there. He's just a butterfly.
I mean, he's always there. He's like the gas station attendant in 4. You
know
might not see him, but you know he's there.
Do you know how many people argue that Philemon's not in the later games? And I'm like, dude, okay, dude's a butterfly, all right?
Listen, there are so many other things that people should be arguing about it, and the location of Philemon is very low on that list, I can guarantee you.
Can we just get one thing out of the way here? All right, one thing out of the way. I see people all the time arguing that Persona 1 and 2 are not canon, like in like some kind of Persona timeline, and it's so easy to argue that they are.
I got bad news for you, everybody. Persona, everything is canon, which means nothing matters.
Like Persona Q.
Yeah, exactly. As
soon
as Persona Q was like confirmed to be canon, and then also not matter. And also remember, the dancing games are canon. 3 dancing, 4 dancing, and 5 dancing.
There's a reason they don't matter though. There's a reason they don't matter. Well, actually, 4 is technically like storyline, plot line, but 3 and 5, yeah, they really don't matter when you get down to the bare bones of it. But the reason why you can call like 1 and 2 quote unquote canon is because like, yeah, that world ends. Like, who gives a crap? Like,
that's true.
It's just not in the same historic timeline as Eternal Punishment through 5. Oh, and Spencer has left the building. No, I'm just kidding. But then maybe we should talk about why Persona Q and Persona dancing games aren't they're canon, but they don't matter.
I'm just ready for like in 20 years, people will realize they're like secretly like French New Wave, and we're actually trying to like be so good they're bad or so bad they're good. Like we're gonna get to a point where people hate 4 and then love 3 and 5 dancing. Like I had a really interesting like tweet I saw like I think it was Friday or like right before the release of P5. That was with the release of P5R. The only PlayStation exclusive Persona games now are the dancing games, and I was like, that is so funny.
They are exclusive, aren't they? Holy cow!
At least in terms of PlayStation 4. Like so,
it's on the Vita though too, you know.
True, but it's like that thing of like, oh, where can you play this? And it's like you can only play this here. So it is kind of funny to think like, oh yeah, what's the one that's like gonna be like, oh darn it, I was this close to getting into Persona, and then you told me the dancing games were only on one system.
Well, once you add the DLC to Catherine, then you've got Joker in Catherine, so that's technically also a Persona game. But it's
true, but that's also on Switch.
Unless you're only playing the original.
Well, hold on. I think you may be getting your ports mixed up. So remember,
OG is on 360. Yeah. That's right.
OG is on 360, Series X, and PC, and then PS4, Vita, and Switch all got full body.
Hold on. Catherine, the OG version is on. Because it's backwards compatible. I was like, wait. Yep. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, native 4K 60. I don't know where the retail release was. Like, you know how sometimes there'd be like those publishers who would put 360 games in Xbox One cases.
Yeah.
Imagine if they did that for Catherine. How wild that would be. Goes up there with your copy of Bully, Fallout New Vegas, and Black Ops 2. There you go, guys.
Yeah, you just see like the orange box of Atlas games coming to Xbox in a giant green case.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would love it if Atlas did some kind of Atlas box, but you know, Atlas likes their money, so they'd never.
The Atlas box would be like a $500 item,
or it'd be just a multi-disc collection of like $500. So. Let's get into it. How do you how was your pre-order process with Persona 5 Royal? Let's get into it.
I'm a bad fan, Christopher. I didn't pre-order any version of Persona 5 Royal this week.
Really?
Yeah, and not because I'm some hoity-toity man who thought Atlas was going to send him copies. They don't do that. But
they just send digital codes nowadays. Usually.
Let me tell you, man, digital codes I could get a year early, and I would still immediately view. Like as soon as the physical version exists, the digital version is just trash to me. I'm like, I agree
100%. The only place where the digital version makes sense is Steam.
True. So yeah, my thought process was, okay, I know I want at least 2 steelbooks, a Switch and a Blu-ray sized one, and I know I would like 1 copy on each system because I like my PlayStation copies for the trophies. Switch is there just because, hey, it's interesting, and Xbox because it. I knew that Xbox copies don't get a lot printed, which is ironic due to the fact that they actually have a pretty high print run, but with it being on Game Pass, I was like, okay, Soul Hackers, not a Game Pass game. So like that
Right.
was, I can still find Soul Hackers in stores pretty easy now.
Probably at
Persona
a
5,
discount even.
yeah, it's been at $40 for at least like a month or two now.
I'm
So
eventually going to get my copy. I just don't know when.
you're holding out for the $20 Black Friday. That's when you'll pull
Yeah, pretty much. Like I want Soul Hackers. I just don't have time to play it right now.
It's not
so,
going anywhere. Yeah, that's fine.
exactly. Like I'm not
So-
worried about it disappearing like the 3DS games did.
I mean, honestly, I should here. Let me go grab it actually real quick, just because when I hold him up, that's what really makes him feel so special. Of like, it's only
Although
2. Whoop, my chair did not like me. So it's only 2, but like this looks fake.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like it looks like I printed. If you want to
You
make me
printed
like
it
full
yourself?
screen or whatever,
Oh yeah, hold
But
on.
yeah. it's just so surreal.
Yeah, they really just look bizarre. I mean, the green case looks nice. It's Persona Christmas.
Yeah, they really do, and it's quite an oddity. Although this one easy to get, no problem. Day 1 edition with the little cards. This was a pain in the butt. Steelbook, be glad that you got your little Steelbook locked in because Steelbook copies. I'm actually looking right now on all major retailers. The Steelbook edition is
It's
sold
like,
out
You can't even get it.
everywhere.
I don't
Let me
know
see if
how
the standard edition is anywhere because right now, okay, standard I see at a couple of places, but I'm gonna even like do eBay of like I wonder if even eBay like what they're selling the Xbox Steelbook one for.
So here's what happened with I actually pre-ordered the Xbox Steelbook in like 4 different ways. It was an accident. No. So what happened was I realized my GameStop copy is probably not coming because it's still pending and they won't give me my money back, but they keep saying it's preparing for shipment.
They're scrounging around the
They're probably waiting for a
around the whole
return.
house.
They're waiting for a return or something. I don't know. So I went to eStarland, I went to Amazon, and I went somewhere else. And at some point, I must have clicked buy it now on Amazon because it said an Amazon copy and an eStarland copy. And then I tried to cancel. So GameStop's still processing. So I can't get my money back out of that yet. The local store that I went to pre-order it, also no copies. eStarland, I went through the whole process and bought it and guessed checkout on X. Like I went and clicked Apple Pages to see what the shipping would be, and it went all the way through. So that ended up paying for the eStarland copy. And then Amazon. So Amazon canceled my order. GameStop is still processing. The store that's local here didn't do it. And I tried to cancel eStarland. He said, we can't cancel it. We already shipped it. I'm like, what? So the only one I didn't want to actually ship is the one I'm getting.
Perfect. I will say, so like even according to eBay, there are no copies on sale that are the Steelbook that aren't like the collector's edition that is from the Shop Atlas one. So it's really interesting. Of like, I wonder if just there. My guess is it's either there's a shipping delay or they really under produced these on Xbox compared to everything else, which like I would 100% believe because we've seen them out in the wild. Like we know they exist.
Yeah, I'm just wondering like how I got mine for how eStarland had one and it's coming to me now.
Like they exist for sure. Like the last sold copy that was this actual Steelbook was on launch day yesterday. Some guy bought it for $63 sealed. Good job on you guys.
That's not bad.
No way. That is literally the only Xbox Persona 5 Royal Steelbook that's sold on eBay.
Well, at least we know there's not people scalping it.
No, I mean that's the thing. Like there are no, like I know they exist, but you know what I mean. There's no such thing as a Xbox physical game collector. Like in the way that there's a Switch physical game collection or a PlayStation. Like just because there aren't that number of games that come out there, or I mean there is, but it's like it's a weird one of like it's like how you never see people like show off. Here's my complete Xbox 360 collection.
There is a few people that have done that. I've seen 1 or 2 on the internet.
And it's like we know they exist, but it's like that thing of there's nostalgia for it, but I don't know if it's just because it's the Xbox or what, but it is a weird one.
Xbox has never been a brand where people are like, yeah, I need the physical discs. And Game Pass just proves it, because Game Pass, like most Xbox people get Game Pass. I don't, because I literally end up buying all the games on my Xbox. How weird is it sticking Joker into the Master Chief every day?
Oh, feels good. Feels right. Seeing it on the home screen was funny. I'll say that. Like seeing it on the home screen was extra weird. That was one of, I had so many pictures on my Xbox of me like playing Persona 5 Royal. And when you're playing a game on Xbox that's not out yet, it doesn't actually let you send the video and pictures to your Xbox app. So they're stuck on the hard drive. You can't like take them out like using the app, because it's like it knows you're not supposed to be like sharing footage from a game that's not out yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
so that's why I had to take a picture of my named protagonist Phil Spencer-kun and wish him luck out there.
So what have been the rules with getting these games early? Like how do they, like, what's the plan with that? Do they tell you basically like, hey, you can't talk about it till this date and this time? How strict are they?
There's two camps of everything when you get something early, at least with Atlas. So if you are in media, you get the game. If there's a preview embargo, they tell you when you can talk about previews and what previews entail, and then a review embargo, which is usually a week or two before the game is out. And then there is the media, then the non-media, which would be like streamers and influencers, which for some reason someone looks at me and goes, that guy looks like he's influencing people, which I'm definitely not. So I definitely get thrown in there. I blame that more on me not having I do more stuff with video than like typing anymore. Mm-hmm. So sorry, I'm trying to get the current stock of something for you. But yeah, with those ones, what they do is because they expect people like me to just stream the game and not make editorial content. What ends up happening is they just say, don't do anything until the game's out, which is hilarious because that's all they say. They just say, don't do anything, not hide what you're playing. When people are talking about the game, they don't say you have it or anything like that. So like I basically end up just being like, okay, I know what the press embargo is. I'm not going to break the press embargoes because, hey, if you don't want us to spoil your game, and I don't want to spoil your game either, I respect that. But
it's a 3-year-old game.
Exactly. It's a 3-year game, but it's like other things too of like, if people are talking about it, like it's out and you don't care if someone at IGN is playing it and saying what they think about it, I guarantee some guy in the Midwest talking and saying what he thinks about it will make zero difference. Yeah. Which usually they've been pretty cool about. The only times that's ever like come up, I've had 2 instances of them wanting to. They've never been like take this down. They have been times of being like, hey, can you post unlist this and then put it up at this time or whatever, or remove this, or no, I don't think I've ever. Yeah, they've never asked me to like take down anything or remove anything I said. The only times that's ever come up is when Japan finds out. Because what's funny is I'll have people from Atlas West watch my stuff, and they're like, great stuff, Spencer. We love hearing from you. We appreciate your criticism. You're tough but fair, like Alec Baldwin is a dad. And I appreciate that. And then when Japan finds out, they go, what's this gaijin over here talking about our game in his living room? How do you get a copy? Let's shut this thing down.
Or they just get like a music flag, like the music's playing.
Yeah, like, and I think it's other ones as well. Like the first time I ever had anything come up like that was when I did a preview for SMT5. Sorry, no, yeah, it was SMT5. Where when previews weren't up, all the previews couldn't show footage, but they could talk about the first area, which is about 10 hours into the game. And I just did like a live 1-hour AMA of like, hey, ask me what you want. I know what I can and can't say, and I'll go from there. And I remember because all the previews were like, well, we can't show you anything. I don't really know what to like do or whatever with it. So it's been very so that was a funny one of basically being like, I didn't say anything wrong, but I was like basically breaking news because I was being confident about the game I was covering. So like that was one of those rare ones of like that made the rounds on like Reddit and a bunch of other places without me sharing it, of people being like, hey, information.
So here's a good question. Since this game's already on the PS4 and can be remote played on the Vita, just so people know, how on earth can they prevent you from showing any footage at all? Because you could technically just play the PS4 one on stream.
So that's when, unfortunately, the tiny little 1% differences you would notice. There is no way to play Persona 5 Royal on PS5 or Xbox without it being in 60 FPS. So they would just notice the game is running 2 times smoother. So that'd be a little harder to show. There would also be differences. So on the menu for triangle, square, X, circle, those are colored on the PS4. PS5 is just white.
Because that's the PS5 UI, right?
Yep. And then also the start button is a different little thing for it. So you'd be able to see the different start. It's like the options button.
So what if you play the PS4 version on a PS5?
It still runs like a fucking 720p 30 FPS game and has no upgraded features at all. That was actually one of my earliest big videos I did. When the PS5 came out, I stayed up all night and I played every Atlas game on the PS5, and it was just me making a video of being like, every one of these games has nothing different playing on the PS5 except this was what was so funny, except Persona 5 Strikers.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it's the only one they didn't develop.
Oh, right. Because
Koei Tecmo actually made a PS5 patch, which was hilarious because that patch came out before we actually got the game in English because we got that 2021.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Hey, so here's a good question. Oh, that we just answered that. Never mind. I would agree on this one. Xbox took way too long to be on the
limited run. I'll say this. Yeah, Carlos brings up an interesting point. We haven't seen actually limited run put out an Xbox game yet. They've done 5 pre-orders so far.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's pre-orders.
The closest thing I guess is technically they've now released Shredder's Revenge, but that was technically a distributed game with them. None of their first party ones, because I know they have Doom 64, a couple other ones I'm forgetting. There's Full Throttle, and probably I think also Day of the Tentacle. So they have some moderate size ones for it, but I just don't. I'll be curious to see if those actually sell out, or if later down the line we find they have a whole bunch left. Because I think for them, being on Xbox is more of it looks good as opposed to it's making them a lot of money. You know,
it gives more options, but let's be honest, how many people, like you said before, unless you're a serious collector, how many people are actually buying physical Xbox discs?
Well, and also it's more that thing of what games do you bring there make a lot of sense. They have River City Girls too. I don't know anyone who wants to play River City Girls physically on an Xbox, which is a weird one. But then you think of games like Full Throttle, Doom 64, and Day of the Tentacle. Those are now first party Xbox games because they own Bethesda. They own not Lucasfilm. They own Double Fine and all that stuff like that. So, I think for them, it's a way of being hey, because actually there were 2 games they actually really wanted. And ironically, I Am 8-Bit got it from them. They were going, because I think I even talked to you about this for a while. They were really pushing for their first game to be Psychonauts 2 for many, many years. And I Am 8-Bit got that. By the way, shout out to I Am 8-Bit. That release I think came out the beginning of the month or whatever. I gotta pick it up. It's $70 because it comes with a whole bunch of goodies and stuff. But they did a cool thing where the collector's edition actually comes with a physical copy on Xbox and PS4 of the original Psychonauts, which Limited Run had done the first Psychonauts, but it's a brand new printing for PS4 and the first time ever a Xbox One disc with Psychonauts 1, which I think is really, really cool. And then the other one is Cuphead. But Cuphead was one of come on, dude. Cuphead is so popular. I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Loomer brings up an interesting point. They did delist the bigger version with the other skins and basically made everything 60. There was a weird rumor going around that they were
actually, look, I found it. Hold on. No, it's on right now. I'll show you.
Oh, thank you.
I just went to the PS4 version right here.
Oh, no. So Dr. Loomer was actually referring to, I assume actually Dr. Loomer was referring to in Japan. They basically truncated things, but they haven't announced anything for America yet, and people were thinking, because the Rhino skins are not in the new port, people were thinking, oh, they're doing this to delist Rhino, but you can still buy Rhino in any version. They haven't taken them out of the original versions or whatever. Hey, I am super sorry. I'll be right back. I have a thing that just came up. If you can kill time or answer questions, I will be right back.
You got it.
Thank you.
So I just want to
pretend the ghost of Will is here.
I do want to. So speaking of the $60 situation, one of the interesting things that I noticed when Persona 5 Royal was launching, and if you're in the chat and you notice this as well, on GameStop's website, it like completely glitched out, and basically Persona 5 Royal across all systems went up to 60. Even the PS4 version that had been sitting at like $40 for God knows how long, and they even had the Steelbook listed, but you couldn't buy it. It was just like you click on it and it didn't work. See if I can pull it up right now. Hold on one second. Let's see. Persona 5 Royal. I wonder if it's still glitched. Find out right now. Live on here. And I've been playing it on the Steam Deck and also on my PlayStation. PlayStation 4. I don't have my, so that's, I'm going to get into the pre-order situation here in a minute, but basically I've had a horrible time trying to get my hands on the Persona, my pre-orders. I can't get them. I haven't been able to get them yet. All right, let's see. Check this glitch out. What the heck? Persona 5 Royal PlayStation 4, $60 with the Nintendo Switch cover. This is GameStop. Good stuff, GameStop. Gosh, that is just hilarious. Persona 5 Royal, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch. All right, let's see if we can find this thing. The PlayStation 4 version. No, it's Strikers. Let's see. Keep going. Yeah, you can't even get the PlayStation 4 version on GameStop. That's bizarre. Let's see. The platform? I can't find the PS4 version at all. Unless I'm losing my brain here. All right, I'm just gonna click on it. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so yeah, so you can see here it's got all the different ones. Let's try PlayStation 4 and see what price is. Yeah, see, $60. How on earth is the PlayStation 4 version $60? It was like down to 40 forever. And now and it's got the Switch cover anyways. Like something's broken here. Yeah, they still haven't fixed this. It doesn't work right. Like you cannot actually select the PS4 version and have a good cover that makes sense for this. Like this is the one it shows. And then when you go down here, you got the PS5 version, looks nice. Xbox One looks nice. Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't screw up the Steelbook because the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Steelbook looks so nice. I just wish it had the like plastic clear cover as opposed to the paper cover that they did for this one. So anyways, hey, Spencer, guess what?
I was hopefully not gone that long, but what's up?
The PS4 version is looking pretty interesting, isn't it?
Oh, that is funny. Because I brought it up a little bit and I was worried about getting too far. How do you feel? And chat, I'd actually really love to know what you think of this as well, because I don't want to be like all Daily Wire about this and make a mountain out of a molehill, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess Daily Wire probably does that. I don't know if that's probably a bigger one or like a Louder with Crowder or whatever, but like, I think the whole Rhino removal is interesting more than it is upsetting, at least to me, for the new version. So I was curious how you felt about it, Chris, and everyone else. So like, long and short of, if you don't know, in Persona 5, the original, there was a costume set and music options for Rhino Kuzunoha. Really cool. One of the like best costume sets of the whole game. It was DLC in P5R on PS4, but then going into this new version, similar with Nocturne HD, certain areas or certain parts of Asia might, big emphasis on might be offended by Raito's outfit. So they were like, it's safer just to remove it from all versions because they're making all of them at once. So that's kind of what ended up happening there. And so why we don't have it in this one. But what's funny is like they still haven't made like any official comment on it of like, here's why, or here's our plan. But yeah, like Chris, how did you feel about that?
Honestly, like, ask me how many times I've used skins in a game ever.
But like for me, it's like I actually really like the DLC skins in P5R only because it's the only way to change the music. Like if it wasn't tied to the music, I don't think I would care as much about the skins. Now, to be fair, Persona 5 also has some awful skins. Like, do yourself a favor right now and chat, like type in the Google search, say Persona 5 Teddy, no, not Teddy, Persona 5 Morgana Afro. There is a Persona 4 Dancing All Night costume pack that gave every one of the like members what their dancing game outfits would look like before P5D, and it's awful. It's like one of the most awful skins I've ever seen in my entire life, and I paid money for it.
So honestly, when it comes to skins, the only time I would use it to change the music, like that is a cool thing. And they even showed that off kind of in their preview I saw on Instagram, which was neat, where they're rolling through the costumes and changing the battle, the BGM. The battle is what a battle game music. I never knew
battle
what
game music.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I've seen that like a billion times. And I'm like, I never questioned what it meant.
It stands for big girlfriend mode.
Depends on if you're playing Catherine or not.
It's true.
So I think it's cool. I personally, actually, when I played Persona 5 Royal, swapped the soundtrack out for the original Persona 5 soundtrack because I just like it better.
Fair. And, I can understand that.
So I just same for Golden. I kind of like the Persona 4 soundtrack better than Golden, personally. Like, so for me,
I mean, like, what songs are you missing out on? It's been so long.
Well, the opening intro is so different.
Oh, come on. Gotta bust out the harmonic.
I'm not a huge... I just think that the original sounds better. And actually, what's funny is the reason I found out the intros were different, because I hadn't even thought about it before, was because of the music that they chose to remix in the Persona 5 dancing intro. And then I realized, oh, that's the original Persona 4 intro music. So I listened to both of them, and I was like, actually, I kind of like this better than Golden.
Now, last controversial opinion for you. What do you like more, Persona 3? Let's rule 3 and Fez into 1. Both of those, or Portable. Which opening do you like more?
Oh.
3 is probably more iconic, but I think Soul Phase is a better opening from Portable.
For me, it's kind of a tie. I really like both of them a lot. I like the duality of the Persona 3 video intro better because you've got the FemC, and I kind of like that. But I am not really a big fan of the FemC storyline just because it's not really involved as much with, like, once Persona Q basically made her a non-character. I was like, okay, all right then. But I think you're right. Persona 3 Portable's intro is just slightly better. Unlike Shin Megami Tensei Persona Portable being better than the original PS1 disc.
True. I was trying to think of like, so kind of going back to of like a weird one. 2 things I wanted to ask you about. So like not caring about skins, I also get. Here's a weird one. Now that all the DLC is free with all these new $60 versions of the game, don't you think that it would be customer like good optics to just make the PS4 DLC free?
Or even the let's get a little too far here. How about the PS3 DLC?
The PS3 DLC they should have made free back in 2020, but to be fair, they literally can't change the price of that now because of Sony. But like, yeah, like I was mad when Royal made the original DLC free and it wasn't free on the original. So, like, I'm not surprised to kind of see it that way, but it's like you just showed off in the PlayStation Store. It's $100 to buy Persona 5 digitally with the DLC. Or,
I did show that. You want to see it?
Or, just be a normal human being and play it on a $500 PlayStation 5 that's very easy to get your hands on.
Atlas wants to make sure they tax every last cent out of you if you're still on the PS4.
So for you, by the way, how are you feeling like from your side of things, whether it be friends, community you kind of hear from, what's the like hype at for Persona? Because like for me, I'm trying to remember the last time I had this kind of feeling. It felt like people were excited about it, but it wasn't like I didn't see new people jumping into this. This feels like it's something that's going to sell well to fans, but isn't probably going to break through too much.
I think there's a lot of fans like you and me that buy multiple versions, and Atlas is just cashing in on us. No, but no, like Will said, he'll try it on Game Pass. I think a lot of the new people trying it are going to be your Game Pass crowd. Like that's my feeling. I get like people who are playing Halo aren't going out and buying a disc. They're probably going to try it on Game Pass, and if they like it, they'll play it, and if they don't, it'll go back on the Game Pass shelf, never to be opened again.
I'll say this. I'm glad Game Pass has not negatively affected its Steam concurrence. I was very surprised to see on Steam we're already over 30K for peak players. That's really good.
That's pretty good.
Because that does not count anything for Game Pass when those copies are being played. Last I checked on Xbox, it was showing it was the most played game of that day. But obviously those things can always kind of change in launch day. Like, sorry, Gotham Knights. I don't think your hype was going to. Like, I forgot Gotham Knights is $70. I was like, man, I want you to be good, Gotham Knights, but like, damn.
I still think that it would be cool if Atlas, in some way, shape, or form, brought the older Persona games forward. I'm not sure how.
Listen, this was their first attempt, sir. They're starting with the newest and going to the
oldest. I know. It's kind of the way that I played all the games. I went newest to oldest.
But by the way, do you mind if I crack open a cold one for the show tonight?
I was actually thinking about making you distract everybody so I could go crack one open.
Oh, please do. But before you do, would you like to know what my poison of the night is?
It's a Mountain. Is this the Mountain Dew alcohol?
Here we go, baby. Mountain Dew. Hard alcoholic, but don't worry, 0 sugar, because clearly the sugar would scare you away from it. We got watermelon tonight. This is illegal in my state. Look at this tall boy. So I've already had the first flavor, which is just original Mountain Dew. No joke. It's just Mountain Dew with 5% alcohol in it. That's all they did.
I used to make that. I used to buy a giant bottle of Ciroc when I didn't know better, and I'd mix the fruity Ciroc with Mountain Dew, and it was amazing.
All right.
You ever had that before? All right. Why don't you do the flavor profile? I'll go get my drink of choice. I'll be right back.
So I'm not crazy about watermelon, but it can be good. Interesting. It's not as strong as you would think, like fruity strong. It's very good. The Mountain Dew is very barely noticeable. This one to me kind of feels like if you've ever had that Mountain Dew Major Melon. It's someone got that with alcohol in it. So what did you grab? You got a real man's drink, as you can tell, next to my Zuma.
Amberbach. Michelob Amberbach. It's a dark beer, but it's actually really smooth. And we probably just demonetized the stream, but that's okay.
Drinking alcohol? Don't worry. I'm sure we'll say things.
I just opened up my YouTube and found out I had some limited ads on some videos. I had no idea were limited ads.
I remember I had a video that got recently limited ads, and I was about to be upset, and then I realized the whole video was about me undressing scantily clad boys. I was like, you know what, YouTube? Understandable. Because even the title of the video was like small bulges, smaller potential.
Oh God, let me look this. I want to see what
it's
oh my gosh, it is actually
it's Mahjong Solitaire. And the more you play solitaire, the less clothing they wear. I'm
not even gonna put this on the stream because I don't want that to cause us to get.
No, yeah, you don't want to do that. That was that was actually literally the game I got and I played and I did a live review stream. And as soon as I was done, I was like, man, my throat's kind of scratchy. And I had like the worst cold of my life for like 2 weeks. Like I literally could not even do the show. It was so weird I was like praying to get COVID because I was like, I just want to know what I was like wrong with because it was just like so, so bad.
It wasn't like some kind of weird. I don't even know. I got nothing for it.
Yeah,
XQC
like
reaction.
I did tests and everything, and it was like I don't know
Is this
what
like
on
is
earth it
XQC
was.
like some kind of like street Twitch streamer? Is that then?
Probably, but I'm the worst person to talk about other YouTubers or other people out there. Like when I find like someone's like entire like they're known for just doing like let's plays, I'm already out. I'm like I won't even know. I don't watch let's plays, and I know zero reasons why let's players are like I've had people really try to sell me on why this let's play channel is worth my time, and it all just goes back to the same reaction of I'd rather play it. It's
The
okay.
only time Let's Play is fun is when it's like somebody else is on the stream with them and they're just constantly dogging on them. Like
Well, yeah,
then that's fun.
and at that point, I'm there for the friends. The game doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Like I would happily stream a Persona game with somebody else who's actually good at it and have them just trash my gameplay the whole time. That'd be so much fun.
What was really funny is when Yarly was streaming today, and I was asking, I was like, "Oh," when it was done, I was like, "Hey, how'd it go?" And he was like, "Oh, it's just really boring." And it's like, "No, you started the beginning of the game." Like the beginning of these long story-heavy RPGs, they're so boring, and I mean, I felt bad for him. I wasn't able to join him. Like that probably would have helped in terms of skipping through it, or like having a buddy to like shit talk around like where it was going. But like for me, I remember. I remember like specifically for my stream I did on Thursday to celebrate the game coming out, I specifically got to the point where you're just doing gameplay in the dungeon. I was like, no one's coming to the stream for the story. Although I will say, in a very on-brand move, I did in the stream with the best part of Persona 5 Royal no one talks about. Do you remember the best mini game they added?
The archery or the darts, I mean? Or the which one?
Crossword puzzles.
There's what? Did I miss
It is
that entirely?
very hidden. So on certain days, you can go to the coffee house or LeBlanc, and why it's limited to certain days makes no sense because it's just crossword puzzles.
Because they only come out on certain days of the week. Duh.
Very, very well. It's a crossword puzzle book, so that plot hole immediately gets cut in half. So what's so funny about it is that's what I ended it on, but I was like, man, I really want to do this crossword puzzle because I love it because it's the trivia of Catherine with drinks, but just in crossword puzzle form. So if you do these like crossword puzzles, you not only get a social boost stat, but you also get like trivia for whatever it's about. So like I'm always a sucker for those.
Yeah, I just also want to remind people, since we're here and you're talking about like, specials. We actually have a coffee deal where you can get 5% off by using code CHRILLCAST. So I need to probably plug that every once in a while.
Damn, look at you! You got the ad hookup over here. Where's the coffee at?
I'm pulling it up right now. So if you go to Coffee Brand Coffee, our buddy Jeremy's coffee over here, and you put in code CHRILLCAST, you get 5% off.
Now what kind of coffee do we got over here? Like, do you have any you recommend?
I just like when I buy coffee, I just get whatever the regular is. I'm not in, like flavor profiles are cool and all that, but like I really just need coffee. So that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, Chris, you don't really come across to me as the caramel macchiato kind of guy.
I do. So there's this, I will say, my like hidden coffee binge that I went on a little while ago. I went and got stuff at an apple orchard, and they had like caramel chocolate, like espresso coffee, and you could get it by like the ground. It was like $15 for like an 8-ounce bag, so it's like really expensive. And I would just mix one of that into like my standard coffee, and it was enough flavor for me. But
I get that.
I don't do that very often. So, anyways, yeah, Coffee Brand Coffee, CHRILLCAST is your code, and you get 5% off. I think you get more if you use like the Quartering or any of the other people that are on this website. But just you
gotta use the CHRILLCAST one. That way you know you're supporting the homies.
Come on, guys. All right. Anyways, if you're getting coffee and you want to buy it online, do this. If you're not getting it online, get whatever you like. Whatever, man. I don't care. But we have a code. Use it if you want. I'm really bad about plugging it, so here we go.
Now,
all right.
now,
hey,
now Chris,
you know what you didn't do yet, though?
What can we do? How many codes will it take for us to get you a Persona 5 Xbox One controller? That's what I want to know.
How much are they? That's a better question.
I don't know. Like, when I've told people like, hey, don't be that jealous of it, because like it's literally just a black Xbox Series X controller.
Somebody
with
can
a
probably
decal.
make that.
Yeah, it's literally just a like Razer put a decal over two already existing things. So, like it's cool, but it's like it's not like someone made like it's not like when you see like those Twitter giveaways of like those custom Xboxes where there's like one of one. Like, did you see that one recently for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They made a Turtle Mobile that's a Xbox.
What?
It's insane. Yeah, it's a Xbox. It's weird too because it's huge, but it's a Series S. If you go to just type in TMNT Xbox Limited Edition, like you should be able to see it. It's absolutely insane.
It looks like somebody's doing the Lord's work over here. I'll show you. Hold on, I'll pull it up for you. Let's see. How do I do? There we go. See, somebody's
the Lord's work. That looks awful. I'm sorry. The chance you ever run it, that looks. If you had that, like, whenever I would see decals on systems, I would just be like, I hope someone did that without your permission, because so often those decals look so bad, and the way the art is stretched is not.
This looks awful.
It's one of those things where like the Xbox X design, especially, I think you've really got to try.
This one's not so bad. This one's not so bad.
All right, zoom in. Why would I want the Royal logo on the back of my Xbox system?
No, that's on the front.
And
it's on both. Oh God, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so many little just like weird fucking things.
Well, how about this one? You want Joker like in this weird pose on the side of your Xbox?
On both sides, yeah. I want him to high five the front and the back of it.
Some of these are a little better. They wrap around. Like this one's
I have one decal that I've ever put on a system. My original PlayStation 4 launch system.
I thought you had the Persona 4 Golden Vita that had it on it. Did you do that?
I don't count that as, like, I don't know if I'm a hypocrite, but like I don't count that as a decal, because that to me was a front screen protector that just so happened to have like some design stuff.
Now hold on a second. Did that actually have screen protection built into? Oh, okay. I did not realize that. I thought it was just.
If it was just the sticker, I wouldn't have put it on, but it was actually like an extra protective element to the like Vita like touchscreen. So like they did decals on the Vita for like the back touchpad. I was like, no, those always looked like really bad to me. But
hey, so there's something you haven't done yet that you've done for a lot of other releases. I have yet to see you put the Shin Megami Tensei 5 slipcover on the Switch Steelbook for Persona 5 Royal.
Chris, should I just unfollow you at this point on Twitter?
Did you already put it on there?
Look on the Twitter, buddy. That was like I did that this morning.
Oh, that's why I missed it.
500 likes ago.
I haven't been on Twitter yet today, other than to post that we were on here together. Darn it, Spencer! You always share those in the DMs, and you didn't do it this time.
Well, I got to be careful, man, because like I feel like when I put my own stuff in the DMs, you always got to be careful of, am I putting this in there to share, or will it look like I'm putting this in there so someone interacts with it? Which I never do.
Hold on, I don't see it yet. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, you hit it in this PS4 one. That's why I missed it.
I hit it, yeah.
You hit it. No, come on. Like, I didn't notice that right away. Like, it's like hidden.
It's subtle.
It's next to the PS4 one. That messed me up.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's the
your fault, man.
It's my favorite Switch game. Shin Megami Tensei 5 presents Persona 5 Royal.
I'm gonna comment on it and say I admit I'm a fake fan.
I gotta be real. When I look at stuff like that and I go like, how does that get like 600 likes? Like, I don't know if you've ever had a thing where it's like, this shouldn't get this many likes. Like the keyboard control picture that I used has like 13,000 likes from P5R on keyboard controls, which I double feel bad about, because I feel like I don't know why that blew up. But then the other one that I found so funny was like, it wasn't even my picture. It was literally just a picture Ozzyx sent me. I'm just like, look at how ghetto this looks. And I literally had to like apologize. I'm like, hey man, clearly I didn't know what gold I was standing on here with it. But yeah, it was a weird one. Oh, I do want to say a weird little reminder to anyone who's listening to this. Don't forget, since Persona 5 Royal is on Game Pass, that also means it's on Game Pass with cloud streaming. So you can play it on your PC with cloud streaming, on your Xbox with cloud streaming, and also your phone. if you want to pretend it's remote play.
P5 with PC controls looks like it was made up in the children's coding engine.
I literally, like, while looking at it, I had to be like, am I, like, I feel like you have to give it like a Monster Hunter claw to hold it. It's really weird.
So here's the question for you, Spencer. You and I have both collected a lot of Persona related, and even I've even collected some Shin Megami Tensei related items. Most of my Shin Megami Tensei collection is like digital. Like I'm not afraid to say it.
You're not a madman.
No, because if I wanted to collect all of those, I'd have to spend that'd be like going after Fire Emblem Fate Special Edition. I would never pay the price it's worth nowadays. But anyways, long story short, what are some of the things you collected over the years that you're like, yeah, that was worth it? And then like, what are some of the things you've collected over the years where you're like, yeah, that wasn't worth it?
There's a couple.
Specifically Atlas and Shin Megami Tensei Persona related, not the limited run games where you're like,
this is easy because especially like, I don't buy a lot of merch either. So there's stuff like my moments of FOMO I've really got to like try hard for. I would say in retrospect, it's a weird one. I kind of have some regret for buying Catherine Full Body's Collector's Edition, even though
did that come with the boxers or no?
No, that was the original.
Okay.
The Full Body one, yeah. And the only reason is because it came with this like not steelbook metal case without the slipcover. And every time I look at my shelf, if you just type in Catherine Full Body Collector's Edition, you'll see like a little metal case.
It's a metal case that's not a steelbook?
It's not a steelbook. What's fucked up is they call it a steelbook.
Weird.
That's when it's evil. Normally, you have companies putting metal cases and they mean steelbook, but this is a case of just straight up lying. Do you want my 9 copies of Strikers? Oh yeah, heads up, guys. Strikers is now on clearance like everywhere. Which I mean, I guess
it's bizarre.
Well, I mean, there was no collector's edition, so there's just a bajillion copies out there for it. It's like $20, pretty much brand new everywhere.
Well, technically, there were the steelbooks that I still don't like. I did not like those steelbooks.
Those are they're interesting steelbooks at the very least. That's why I give them a pass, and also I'm biased on that game. But
oh, that's not a steelbook. What the heck is that?
Just a metal case.
It does say metal case. It does in the advertisement. It does say metal case.
But
I never noticed that. Yeah, it says metal case, and that's because it doesn't have a spine technically, right? That's why it's not a steelbook.
I'll say this, like. Oh, I know. I have a big one that I regret buying. That like it's not even a pride of my collection. The Persona 3 and 5 Endless Dancing Night thing.
I regret that.
That was so bad, dude, that like I own the Japanese steelbook for that, and it was already like that's already better. Like that's all I needed was just the game on a disc. But then like when I bought them physically on their own, the physical versions was more rewarding to me to own than those, and I had both of those sealed. Those, man, I should see what those are. I should see what those go for in price. I lucked out big time. No. They used to not go for a lot, and now they've skyrocketed in price. At least for new.
Really?
At least for new sealed, because I remember I was at an anime convention this year, and a guy was selling both for $10, brand new sealed day one copies, and I was like, this is just cheap enough that I should buy this, and I could tell. and I went to look because I remember it was dirt cheap on clearance for a long time. But you got to remember, dude, it's 4 years old now. That game came out 4 years ago in 2 months.
So that's a Japanese import. Hold on, I'm trying to find
Japanese copies will be really, really cheap. But
okay, I mean, so they're up now. They're up to like $30 now. The dancing ones, the standalone.
5. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I would have thought 3 would be more expensive than 5. 5 is the more expensive one for some reason.
Can we talk about how stupid getting Persona 4 dancing on the PS4 is?
It's one of the most mind-boggling things.
Although the only reason to buy the Endless Dancing collection was
true,
that was the only reason.
But considering that was a Japan decision, I don't actually give them that much crap for it because like they strictly marketed it in Japan as this will only be digital forever. Which by the way, what a weird What a weird way to say it's only digital forever and it's only part of the collector's edition. They still have never sold it a la carte.
I know. Unlike Infamous, which now you get all the DLC for free.
Oh yes, it's true. So the question was: is there one you regret, and is there one you're glad you got right?
Yeah.
Glad I got. I feel like there's a lot, and I don't even really come from. Definitely has to be one. I'm really glad I have. Are we allowed to do SMT, or should I stick it to just Persona?
You could do either or both.
SMT has to be Devil Survivor 2, the European DS copy.
Oh,
only
yeah,
because that's crazy stupid. Like, I don't even know if there's any copies of that left anymore. The one I bought was the only copy I could find.
Didn't you say you spent like years looking for that?
No, I covered it for years, but I never realized it would be rare until I was eventually trying to decide what was the lowest print run game. Like, technically, yeah, the rarest Atlas game of all time. And that was the one of what it was. That one definitely has to go up there. Shout out to the, by comparison, though, I bought Devil Survivor 1 and 2 off Macari like 2 years ago. Because I always had the 3DS versions, but I was like, I'd like to have the original ones as well. I got that for such a steal. Like some dude listed on Macari, and I got both for like $40 in like perfect condition.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, that was great. But like ones I'm really glad about. Like collector's editions are always easy one, but like honestly, if I didn't have the Persona 4 Golden Collector's Edition, I would be very sad just because I knew even back then it was really limited. But honestly, like
I almost bought that for $100.
Should have done it, man.
I almost did.
But like not a lot else, because like there are games that if I didn't get the collector's editions for, like I don't look up at my Persona 5 collector's editions and go like, oh my god, dude. Like there's a reason I'm skipping the Shop Atlas collector's edition. Like that does nothing for me. I'll say this though, probably the P4 Dancing Vita. If I didn't get that, and had to pay nowadays prices, yeah. If I didn't get the Dancing All Night Disco Vita, that would be a big bummer.
You wait, the Vita or the collector's edition box game?
Oh, the Vita for sure. I dumped the collector's edition. Although that's
is that one a 1000 or 2000 model?
That's a 2000, and the best part is the Japanese version comes with the collector's edition, so you still get the physical game, you still get the DLC, and you even get the 2-disc CD soundtrack.
Yeah, that was something I actually kind of wanted, was the soundtrack. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to see if you can even find this. Oh yeah, so it's only about $260. Like that's not horrible. I see one right now for $260 on.
Does it come with like the box and everything?
No, I'm just saying the game itself.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not the game, the console. Because like actually, is this a 2000? Oh, it is. Yeah, it's 2000 model. It's really funny. Like I know immediately how to tell the difference between a 2000 and 1000 model. But if I showed people a 1000 and 2000 model and said which one's which, I bet most people wouldn't be able to tell me. That's the sad part about the Vita, is like nobody knows anything about the Vita.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Like for me, it's always obvious because the start and select are circular as opposed to oval.
Dude, all you got to see is that there's an outline around the screen versus the original one is just like all glass panel.
That's a good point.
That's the only thing.
So what about for you? What's one you regret, and then what's one you're like, oh my god, thank God I got it.
So I regret.
Wow, Bill Ohm in the chat. That escalated quickly.
Oh god, I see that now. Holy cow!
I hope that is a real person who just came in to say that too. That's the best part.
We had like awful spam porn bots a couple of weeks ago. It's possible that's not what. I hope that's not what this is, but who knows?
Oh, he said sorry though. It's okay. It's okay,
right,
Bill.
good,
Thank you.
Good. Oh, I see. He's got Paul Blart Mall Cop as his profile picture. Good stuff. All right.
Paul Blart did look stacked, so that would make sense.
All right. No, the one that I regret buying. I mean, I regret getting the PlayStation Classic for Revelations Persona. I regret that one because like it's a nice looking piece, and I got it specifically for that. But in the same month that I bought that, I bought the actual disc for Revelations Persona. So like now I just have this nice looking PlayStation Classic and specifically bought it for Revelations Persona. I had a pretty popular.
Wild to you, by the way, that like I didn't think about this until recently. I cannot believe they did not update the ROM to have the Snow Queen quest in that fixed version. That would have been a really cool little way of just being like, hey guys, thanks for picking this up.
Honestly, like people have patched it in using like because it's the easiest.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like it's only more insulting too when you realize that it's so easy and yet Sony still didn't do it. That's when it gets frustrating.
So the best part about the PlayStation Classic is it was the most easily hackable system I've ever owned in my life. Like the second I had it, it was already hacked, and it's literally like maintained the value I bought it at the entire time I've owned it. It's not gone up. It's not gone down. It's like literally stuck at like the $50 range. It won't go up, won't go down.
That's too funny.
Just the controllers on their own, the USB PS1 classic controllers, to me are worth more than $50. But I'm an oddball. I like that controller. It's like an SNES controller, basically.
So, by the way, the cheapest copy of Persona 5 Dancing on eBay, at least right now, brand new sealed, you're going to be looking at $75.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I mean, considering the reputation of that game, I am surprised.
So I have to ask you then, of the dancing games, other than 4, because 4 is clearly the best of the 3. Like it has an actual story. It continues the actual main storyline of Persona 4. Which one did you think had more value in the side stories?
Oh no, the story doesn't even, both stories are somehow the same and awful at the same time. The side stories are just like, let's make the worst fan fiction as long as humanly possible. Yeah, that I don't even think is fair to throw into.
You didn't think the social links were good enough to like?
No, like the only effort it had is that it made the platinum longer, which like I appreciated for the first, because like you can platinum P4D pretty quickly and like ignore the story, but like the challenges in Persona 3 and 5 are really long of like get 10,000 notes or do this 10,000 times or whatever.
Yeah.
So like there's like it's at least like a 6 to 8 hour platinum on both of those, which I appreciate. Which I appreciated for one playthrough, but then doing it 4 playthroughs made me want to blow my brains in.
Well, how stupid was the non-inclusion of Shinjiro and Goro Akechi if you didn't pre-order the game?
I find it morbid and funny, mostly due to the fact that let's not include them, spoilers, folks, because they're dead, and then let's include them as DLC because they're dead. Yeah, pretty much. I always thought the weirdest part about Persona 3 and 5 being split up is, if you remember, you can play any DLC character in any DLC song in Persona 3 or 5, but you can't play any songs from 3 and 5 or 5 and 3.
Yep.
Like, why it wasn't like a Link's Awakening, not a Link's Awakening. It should have just been like it should have been like an Oracle, not an Oracle.
Oracle of Ages,
Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. If you had both, just put the disc in and then be able to play it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Or, they could have probably, for the, collectors like you and I that actually dropped that 100,000. Wow, that'd be a lot of money. $100 on the Dancing All Night collection and put it on one freaking disc.
Oh, that would be so great. Like, yeah, honestly, that would be a good way to get us to, because they'd be able to fit it in there for sure. Imagine if on the disc it was one SKU and you could play 3, 4, and 5 in one game.
That was what I was expecting when I originally pre-ordered it, just because I knew it was going to be one stupid bookcase thing. And then I got there and it's like, oh, it's 2 discs on one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. This is not what I wanted. But I think it's probably the dumbest thing I've ever pre-ordered was the Dancing Collection. Like, I paid $100 so I could go to my GameStop day one, take it home, feel like a weeb when I was there. Because everybody's looking at me like, why'd you get that?
I do want to say, though.
No, I take it back. The dumbest thing I ever bought was which arena game came with the Teddy blow-up thing?
Ultimax.
So I got the other one because I wanted the... This is so stupid. I don't know if it's stupider that I bought Persona Q and then I bought the box to go with it, or if it's stupider that I bought the Persona 4 Arena just because I wanted the full tarot card set that I'm probably going to sell. But can we just talk about the logic behind that? Like, let's market this set of tarot cards to freaking 3DS and
a 3DS or a PS3 and
but you only get
and or
half
a
of
360.
each.
Yep.
But you only get half of each. So you have to have you have to have a Nintendo console and a Sony or a Microsoft.
One of the
What
few
in the world were they
things
thinking?
One of the few things I genuinely always forget is that Persona Q1 was a $50 game. I always forget that.
Which one?
Persona Q, the first one, was a $50 game
Oh, 50.
at launch.
Okay. I think by the time all was said and done, I think I spent maybe $40 on Persona Q. How much is that game worth?
Q1 or Q2 both got reprinted last year, so their prices went down a lot. So I think they're now back at around $40 to $50 a pop.
But they didn't get reprinted with the extra box, did
no,
they?
No, just the game.
Okay.
By the way, this is funny to me. On Amazon, the bestsellers list, Persona 5 Royal on Switch is 16. That's the plastic cover edition.
What? Really?
And 19 is the Steelbook edition. Both are still in stock.
Well, I imagine. Well, yeah, they bought. So, from what I understand, the Nintendo Switch Steelbook is like extremely overproduced on purpose.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a higher print quantity for sure. They've made
way
more
higher print.
And yeah, so like those you'll see around for a hot minute. PS5 I actually probably expect to sell slower than Switch. I bet Switch will probably be out of here and out of stock by the end of the month. PS5 is a weird one of like PS5 collectors exist, but the problem is there's not enough PS5 owners out there. Like there are probably people who collect PS5 who don't even own the system yet. I bet that exists out there.
Yeah.
Although, can I give a shout out to the best RPG release of the week that isn't Persona 5?
Which one's that one?
Shout out to at the number 4 spot physically and the number 1 spot on the eShop. Mario plus Rabbids 2.
Oh.
Like, shout out to that team because I was so worried that like it was a 5-year in the making sequel and no one was going to care about it. I was so worried that like nobody cared.
I just gave away my original copy of the original game, because they had like. So here's a funny story about that game.
That game gets dirt cheap. They sell that game for incredibly cheap nowadays.
No, so what happened was I bought it originally. Like I bought it for maybe $10 on eBay, the physical edition, and then they ran a eShop deal where you could get the digital
Ultimate
version,
Gold Edition. Yep.
Yeah, for like $15. So the DLC on its own, if you bought it, was like $15. I was like, all right. So I bought the full edition. Then found out my cart was useless. Like there was no point to have the cart at that point. So I gave it to my brother-in-law who didn't own the game. But so yeah, then I ended up with the DLC, the base game, and everything. So it's digital copy. Way more convenient too, because I can just scroll through my games and find it without having to go get the cart out of my shelf here. But that's like one of the few games
Chris,
I bought.
Tell me if I made a bad decision or not. Oh, it's in the other room. I bought Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope this week for $100. No, $90. So you know how Ubisoft does their gold editions with the season pass? Yeah. So I bought that, not because I am dying for the season pass, because it's just a downloadable code. If you got it at GameStop, only at GameStop for whatever reason, it came with a steelbook.
What?
That's the only reason I paid for it, because it was an exclusive steelbook for it, and it looked really, really good. And then the best part was I got it in person. It looks even better in person. It was absolutely gorgeous. Like Nintendo wishes they had a steelbook as nice as the Mario plus Rabbids one.
I'm still mad about the Metroid Dread steelbook.
No, actually, I think that's a good one. I think it's not doing anything crazy.
I think it's good if you don't care about slip covers. They
set the bar really low, though.
Oh,
as soon as they did Smash Brothers, if you can find the inside of it, the inside is even better somehow. It's really nice. It's a shot of. Oh, I think that one does open up if they have it. It may be sealed because the copies from GameStop are all sealed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so it's them walking along the galaxy, and it's all the playable characters.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So shout out to Ubisoft for not just. I'm sure much like every other Ubisoft game, this game will go on discount really, really soon. But this was just one of those weird things of like, it was an exclusive Steelbook. Yeah, like look at that thing. Steelbook only, $50. 50 bones.
I still remember what the Persona 5 Strikers Steelbooks were going for. Remember that?
I got an extra one still. Can you do me a favor? What's Striker's PS4 going for these days? I'm extra poor right now, so I might have to sell that.
I sold mine to a fellow YouTuber. I'm not going to mention it since don't know if he wants anybody to know. But
Philip DeFranco was really desperate for a Steelbook.
I wonder if there's even any online right now.
I just can't believe you sold a Steelbook to Keemstar. I didn't even know he was a fan of the series.
Holy what? There's one. There's one on all of eBay. You know what somebody's got listed for?
For the PS4 Striker Steelbook?
There's only one on all of eBay. You know what he's got listed for?
$100 under over.
$500.
I don't believe this.
No.
Can you show this to me?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now for you.
He put rare in front of it. That's how you know he's serious.
You only got one picture. Like this person has no idea what they're talking about.
Well, folks, I'm about to make $500. God, if that's actually how that worked, I'd be so happy. Because let me tell you, folks, Spencer's about to get himself a third job. If you know what I'm talking about.
Is it the same as the oldest job?
No, I don't even know what it is yet. All I know is I need to get a second job, and as you already know, podcasting and content producing is already its own job. So really, me getting a second job is just a third job.
Fair point. I do a lot of volunteer jobs now. Like I volunteered to coach soccer. I volunteered to do the
I don't get. Wow, you're right. There's really not a lot of Striker Steelbooks.
I only found that's the only one I found.
It's just a lot. Wow, maybe people just bought them all up like crazy. I'm gonna go to the sold section.
The person who has this online, they have 100% positive feedback at least, but their name is basically the same as the Japanese brand Hori.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like every other one just sold. Like the last couple that sold, one sold for $50.
Like the Geo case is cheaper.
I'll say this though, that Geo case, I like the Geo case more.
Did you get that one?
Is very pretty. Oh yeah, of course I got the Geo case. Come on.
See, I don't like Steelbooks without a slipcover. That just drives me nuts. Why does it have?
Chris,
two
it helps when
slots?
90% of my collection doesn't have.
Why does it have two switch slots? That's the real question.
Because that's how
the Geo case
only way they had it. Yeah, it was easier to make one size Steelbook as opposed to like ours. But yeah, recently, just in October alone, the PS4 copies that were on sale sold for $50, $70. Some guy got it for $30, although that was open and looked like it had some damage. But there was there were two $100 sales. So my copy may be soon going on eBay, everybody. So if you're looking for a copy for not $500, look out for my manga in the background because that's what you're probably going to find.
So I'm actually debating on selling my copy of Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition, but I've been very confused about whether I want to sell that.
That'd be expensive, man. That's a tough one.
I got it for $100.
That's a great price, honestly. Did it come with anything else?
It was just the case and the cart.
Well,
but that's all you need to sell it for several $100s.
I know. I don't know, man. If I had that, I'm obviously not as tied to Fire Emblem yet as you. But if I was at that point in my life, I would 100% probably sell that. Just because it's I know Fates isn't
nobody cares about
best.
Fates.
Yeah, but 3DS collectors care about that special edition. That's the funny thing.
The reason why people care about it. So here's another thing about preservation. I care about preservation to the extent that I can play the game. So for me, I have the digital copy and all the DLC on my 3DS. I don't actually need a physical cart with all of that on it. My SD card contains all that same information. Plus, I can't actually use the DLC with my physical copy because it's tied to my digital copy. So that's kind of annoying. 3DS is the weirdest physical digital collecting console I've ever owned.
Do you remember the only way to download and to buy DLC on 3DS games? You have to be in the game to buy the DLC.
Unless it's just a patch you can get on the eShop, then you can download it. And even if you don't have the game, the 3DS will attempt to apply the patch. Because, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the save system on the 3DS, weirdest thing ever. So
yeah, if you have a digital copy and then you get a physical copy, that does not work. You can't transfer those saves, even though
you
the
basically
same thing.
Have to hack your 3DS to move those saves from one to the other. Nintendo. People wouldn't have to hack their 3DS.
I
if you
had
just let them switch them.
someone try and call me out recently. Not recently, like a couple of years ago at a convention. I had someone be like, they street passed me, and they saw I'd only played 5 hours of like SMT4 Apocalypse, and it was because I got a digital copy, and then I got the physical. I then deleted the digital to play my physical, and then the physical wouldn't work with that. So it was like awesome.
Yeah, I've had a few weird things happen with, because I've had different accounts over the years. It's like sometimes I'll be talking about a game that I played on a different account, and then people look up the account I've been using for the past at least probably a decade now. And like if it's a decade out past, there's a good chance that it's probably not my current profile. And then when it comes to like PlayStation and Steam, I'm a way newer user to those platforms. Like if I'm talking about an old game, I might have been playing on a different profile. And if you look up my current profile, you may not see
it. So I got a question for you. I'm curious how you feel about this. A lot of people in the last day or two have been talking about Persona 5 Royal budget. And I thought it's been very interesting of people throwing shade at Atlas because they think they're putting too much money into marketing Persona 5 Royal, a re-release. And I'm like wondering why people don't know this. So I'm just curious, like if maybe this is just one of those weird privilege moments where I know this and I expect everyone else to know this and then they don't. Atlas has spent this much money marketing Persona 5 Royal in America. $0.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen anything on Atlas Tube.
It's all, well, they have stuff on Atlas too, but like it's
when I say, I'm sorry, Atlas West.
Atlas West has been doing it, but you'll notice there are two companies who have paid Atlas to market Persona 5 Royal. Xbox has got the big time. That's why, like any of those ads you've seen in Vegas, New York, London, Seoul, Japan, all of those ads and those huge billboards, all of those are paid by Xbox. Those are all just giant ads, and you notice there's only one system it's telling you Game Pass. It doesn't say Xbox, it just says Game Pass.
Game Pass.
But, and then weirdly enough, I would love to know the like story behind this. Nintendo also has some advertising money staked into this, where they have been going and reaching out to all their advertising houses and all of they have had TV ads, YouTube ads, Twitch ads. Like Nintendo is running ads of what's one of the big holiday games you're wanting to play this year. Bayonetta, Pokemon, Persona, which by the way, wow, what a weird year for Nintendo. But like, hey, shout out to them. Like that, they wanted to lean into that, and like they've really done it. So it's one of those strange ones of like, and then by the way, I love Sony's just sitting here being like, oh, whatever. Just think of it. They're just fighting over their old exclusive.
Best place to play Persona right here.
With my face reflecting on it.
Actually, here's the thing. So let me ask you
Chris,
this.
you need to do this for me. Have you had your Steam Deck die? How long can you play the Steam Deck with Persona 5 Royal running?
Oh, that's a bad question because I've only got it down to 30% before I had to quit. I don't have like long periods of time.
That's true. You're a family man. You don't got time for.
So here's what I can tell you. When I was playing Halo Infinite on the same settings I'm playing Persona 5 Royal on, I only got about 2 hours out of it.
You need to do you have a PC copy of Strikers?
I do actually.
You should see how Strikers runs on that by comparison. I'd be curious.
So Strikers is claiming that it can't run on the Steam Deck, but I'll tell you what, it runs on the Steam Deck.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah. It says it. Well, the thing that so Strikers is that weird case where Atlas wasn't ready for the Steam Deck. The way that
isn't technically no. I was gonna say for the longest time. Do you remember when the Steam Deck was out, but it wasn't out yet? Persona 4 Golden wasn't Steam Deck verified, and that was like a joke for a long time. Of like, how can the Steam Deck not run this?
Well, de novo, all the anti-cheat software it breaks the Steam Deck. Like easy anti-cheat is the reason why Halo Infinite is still a caution, not a full green, and why MCC still doesn't have any compatibility with the Steam Deck supposedly. But the reason, so Strikers is a weird use case. So Strikers really doesn't run on the Steam Deck. Like at no point has Strikers ever run well on the Steam Deck for me. And it's kind of sad. Everything works except every cutscene is so effed up. So,
Like, is it flashing, lagging?
No. So characters' mouths are moving, and there's no dialogue at all.
You're playing
It's
the
just
mime version.
it's the music and the animation, but every character voice is gone.
That's too funny.
So you're watching these. It's so awful. So I had to rewatch it on the Switch and my PS4, like, because I'm playing all 3 versions right now because I'm an idiot. And to see the cutscenes, so I'm like trying to play. So every time I get farther on my Steam Deck, I'm like, all right, time to catch up on a different console and see what the cutscene is. It's so bad. Like, Strikers is so broken when it comes to cutscenes. I don't know why.
So funny.
Also,
I mean,
Golden.
hey, man,
Golden has the weirdest glitch on the Steam
Golden
Deck.
has weird. Yeah, I've seen Golden running weird on it.
So do you want to know what it does to me? I don't know if this is everybody, but it does this to me. I can probably have it happen right now. Hold on. Let's see if we can make it happen on stream, because I've never had anybody else show this weird
I'm just
glitch.
imagining it's just the harmonica song playing at 1 frame a second.
No. It's even weirder. So hold on. Let's see if it'll load. I want to see it do it actually live on a stream, because I've tried to capture this on video.
This will be one of those things like when you try and show someone showing someone that something broke and then it runs perfectly.
I'm gonna laugh when it works, because it hasn't worked. It's broken every time I've tried. Hold on. So if I go to let's get to the actual spot.
By the way, Chris, what is the temperature where you live right now? I'm so jealous of your beanie.
So it's not that warm. It's pretty warm, actually. So this screen, because of the green
I
screen.
love the CHRILLCAST logo imposing onto it.
So if you sit on the intro screen,
perfect.
If you sit on the intro screen of Persona 4 Golden for too long, it crashes the Steam Deck. It happens to me like every time. I wanted to do it on
Which is so
stream.
funny too, because then you're just hearing that peaceful music. Dun, dun, dun,
I can't remember if it's the intro that does it or if it's the home screen. But I remember I let it sit for a little while, and I went to go use my Steam Deck, and it was crashed. It would totally crash completely. I love the CHRILLCAST look.
That is almost like you modded it in there. That looks
hilarious.
so clean.
That's amazing, because the colors are the same too. That's even better. I want to see it crash on stream, but that every time I've done this on the Steam Deck, if I let it sit for longer on the thing, it freezes and crashes. Every time.
We need like the Steam Deck cam. It's just like a little overhead camera you have that just shows the Steam Deck idling while you're.
Did you notice that it doesn't roll into the movie? It doesn't roll into the movie at all. Did you notice that?
Does it do it on the initial startup?
Like, look, it's supposed to have that intro movie, and maybe they patched it out because it's so broken on the Steam.
That actually might be the case. That is interesting.
But yeah, I've had this like crash multiple times.
You know, while we're talking about P4 and in Steam Deck and so forth, we are now less than 3 months away from Portable being on Steam, PS4, Xbox, and Switch. Where are you at with that port of like, are you hoping they learn lessons from P4? Anything like quality of life stuff you're wanting to see? Because it's just going to be another $20 like kind of simple port, but like, but
will it be ever released physically? That I'm going to hold out for that. I'll probably buy Persona 3 Portable on the Steam Deck, because Steam's never going to be physical. I don't have to worry about that. But I will probably wait to see if like maybe Atlas does some weird print run of something. I don't know.
How would you feel? Because like I've mentioned this a couple of times. The last time I heard about this was last summer, pre-Xbox announcement. But 3 and 4, 1 steelbook, I assume 1 cartridge. There's no reason to put them on multiple cards.
I mean, Axiom Verge was on 1 cartridge, both games.
But if it didn't go to retail, would you rather it never went to retail, or was a Shop Atlas exclusive? Because I know a lot of people don't like the Shop Atlas exclusives. Yeah.
I mean, I would buy it still just because of the fact that it would be physically printed, but I wouldn't be happy about it. Yeah, just like when Limited Run gets something and it's like something I wanted really bad.
It's like the monkey paw.
I don't feel
it's
good
like
about
your favorite indie game just got a physical. Yay! By Limited Run. Boo. You know what that was with me recently, Chris?
What was that?
The fucking Dead Space Collector's Edition. Dead Space Collector's Edition gets announced. Yay! It comes with a steelbook and the helmet. Looks awesome. Limited run only and costs $300 with $45 shipping, and you won't get it for 12 months. Boo.
That, you know what? That sucks the worst is when it's like so uber expensive and you have to pay it like this tax a year before you get it. It's like, oh, that's the worst. Like KOTOR. So I bought Knights of the Republic 1, and I had to wait a year to get it. And now I
Did you
bought
hear
number
the
2.
bad news about KOTOR 2?
It should have the patch on it already.
Nope, they just announced. Even though the game has not been produced yet, they aren't going to have the patch on the cart. So after all the waiting,
marketed it as it was going to have the patch on it.
They backed out last second. They said they're just going to print it to get copies out quicker because people complained about KOTOR 1 so much. They're just going to print it
wait
at
at this point. I mean, KOTOR's been out forever. Who gives? Nobody cares to wait at this point. Like, are you serious?
Clearly, Lucasfilm just wants to keep the tradition alive of shipping KOTOR 2 broken.
Oh God, I'm so angry. I did not know that.
Which is. Oh, I mean, did you hear do you remember the Doom collection
I would
situation?
I would have considered canceling that order if I would have known that. Like, the whole point I wanted it was because it came with
frustrating.
everything.
I mean, like, a big one for me, here was one that I was glad happened through them, and even that one sucked. Doom Eternal got a physical on Switch through them.
Doom, yeah. I did hear about that.
Do you remember what the problem was?
No
DLC.
Wait, what?
So remember, Doom Eternal has those 2 big expansions, the Battle of the Gods Part 1 and 2. Nope, because it was cheaper to put it on a cheaper card.
Of course.
And they're like,
I gotta order something.
We just can't do it, guys.
I just remembered they're re-releasing Oceanhorn 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're doing Oceanhorn, a reprinting even. Oceanhorn.
I gotta order that right now before I forget.
Is it just on Switch?
I know. No, it's just, Oceanhorn 1 and 2 on Switch. Yeah, because Oceanhorn. I just remember that.
I'm tempted to get that just due to the fact that I sold my copy of Oceanhorn 1 back in the day. I think I got like $70 for it or something.
Yeah, it went pretty high. I think it's $100 now.
But I also want it I want the double pack because I have not played Oceanhorn 2 and I've heard very good things about it.
It's Breath of the Wild, but it's not Breath of the Wild, basically.
I would say it's probably more of like how Oceanhorn 1 is linked to the past looking like Wind Waker. I would say Oceanhorn 2 just is Wind Waker in 3D.
No, because it's more like Skyward Sword without.
Okay, I can see that more.
But I need to buy this because I keep forgetting to buy it. And
thankfully that's their distributed stuff. Their distributed stuff never sells out.
This one is ending on. Let's see.
Well, pre-orders will end, but whenever their pre-orders end, they then just go up on Amazon.
Oceanhorn is my favorite non-Zelda game.
It's great.
I actually I platinumed it on my Vita because I have the Vita physical copy, and I got the full achievements on Xbox One. That's how insanely dedicated I was.
That's on Xbox One. I'm wondering why Oceanhorn 2 is not on other systems besides the Switch. I don't get.
Because it's funny. Like, you would think that with iPhone being like the main platform, they wouldn't want a portable system to compete with them. But like, they just don't care.
I mean, to be fair,
Apple said you can't put it on consoles, so they were able to put it on the Switch.
Apple Arcade is this: you have to be exclusive to us, and then and you can do whatever you want with it. I'll say this: I did not know this. Oceanhorn 2 is an Unreal Engine 4 game, and it is not announced for a PS4 release at all, but it is announced for Series X and S. Coming out sometime. That smells like a Game Pass game to me.
Oceanhorn 2? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, actually, check this out. It is officially announced now. I don't know when this happened. Also, kudos to you.
The limited run trading cards booster pack?
Don't do that.
I ain't doing that. You'd have to be an insane person. No.
It is coming now to PC, Windows, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It is skipping PS4. Which, by the way, nothing makes me laugh more than when a game will come to Switch and then skip PS4.
Yeah, because it's like clearly it could run there.
Like Temtem. Temtem did that.
So here's the thing. I've tried Apple Arcade, by the way.
It's great. It's a great service, man.
Apple
I like it.
Arcade is way more worth it, though, if you have the latest Apple TV.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that probably would be.
Because I have the what the hell is it called? The Nimbus Plus Nimbus Plus controller, which is the new Apple M5 supported Bluetooth controller for Apple products. And my goodness, it runs. That is the best controller I've ever. Like, it's better. It's like a Switch Pro controller, but better. That's the Nimbus Plus.
But then you've got to probably be like one of 5 people in your area that actually own that thing.
I'm like one of 5 people in probably the whole country that owns that thing.
What's the over-under to finish up the physical Persona 3-4 question for you? What is the most you think that should cost physically, and what is the like what is your desired price for that double pack, and then what is the you can't go over this price for
if it's $60, I'll buy it.
Okay.
Even if it's $20 shipping.
Okay.
That's
actually more fair than I would have thought.
Just the fact that they're printing it physically probably on a Switch cart, because that's where I want it most likely.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider it. By the way, I did get an OLED Switch just to play Persona 5 in an actually good screen.
Yo, can I just say, I don't know if we brought this up when we talked about the Steam Deck a little bit before. The Steam Deck not having an OLED screen, every time I look at it,
makes me so angry.
What were they thinking?
Should you have one or no?
I've used one. I have a friend who has one that I can go to play if I want to.
If you live near me, I would happily let you handle my Steam Deck.
It's like, I mean, no, it's not like the other person won't. It's like, I knew I didn't want it, but I knew I wanted to mess around with it. So
I've considered selling mine simply for the fact that I can sell it for double what I paid for it.
Amazing.
I'd literally sell it and then repurchase a pre-order.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I've thought about it so many times because I could have made double my money just reselling it.
Listen, as someone who's literally going through this closet behind me tomorrow to sell stuff, I definitely understand that. Of like, what do I need and what will actually make some good money right away? Like, I even had some weird stuff of like, I have some old extra Persona manga that randomly went out of print in the last year and now go for like $100. I'm like, really?
So here's a question for you then. Have you ever sold something in your collection that you later regretted?
Oh, 100%. Persona 1, 2, and the PSP
Did you
games.
have one?
Yep. I started with 1, Revelations. I had 2. I got that really cheap back in the day when PS1 games were always dirt cheap, but I think I had some Garbo case. And like, honestly, I don't really regret the PS1 ones outside of the fact that I knew I had them. The ones I kind of regret, I do regret selling P1 and P2 Innocent Sin because I had those in English. I will say, I do find it funny. I had the foresight to not sell Portable. The fact that Portable goes for so much is so funny just because it's like there are so many ways to play Persona 3.
Honestly, so that's actually one of the things I want to talk to you about. How do you feel about, so on my Steam Deck, I got widescreen HD Persona 3 FES.
I'm going to be honest. I would still, you could show me that on a PlayStation 4 or 5 or Persona 3 Portable. I would still rather play Portable because I like that structure more. It's just the structure of the game. And I mean, like, remember, I'm biased because I like my visual novels. I like having my different routes. I like the different music. So it's like that thing of like, I just enjoy those kind of aspects there.
Are you into Muv-Luv? Is that something you've played?
Love Muv-Luv.
Is it good?
Ooh, Muv-Luv is a weird one. So Muv-Luv is the best visual novel series of all time with one of the most boring visual novels attached to it. I shouldn't say it. There's a lot of really bad visual novels out there. Muv-Luv is a really complicated trilogy, Chris, that I can quickly explain to you as this. Muv-Luv
Duology or trilogy? I thought it was just a duology.
It's 2 Vita cartridges. Muv-Luv 1 has 2 games on it. Muv-Luv Alternative is the finale game. So I'll explain it like this because it's
okay.
Muv-Luv 1, it's called Muv-Luv Extra, I think. No, it's Muv-Luv, and then there's Muv-Luv Extra, and then Muv-Luv Alternative. Muv-Luv 1 is just your run-of-the-mill, I am a dude, hot chicks are around me, high school shenanigans ensue. That's it. That's literally the whole story. It's just meant to introduce you to the protagonist, to the world, and to all the big boobed girls around you. Muv-Luv Extra is a what if... Oh, sorry, no. Muv-Luv Extra is that world if aliens invaded... I love with the CHRILLCAST logo behind it. It makes it look even better. Muv-Luv Extra is that world if aliens invaded, similar to... Have you ever watched Neon Genesis Evangelion?
No, but it feels like 13 Sentinels is being described to me right now.
Yeah, like kind of yes and kind of no. But basically, you are high schoolers, aliens invade, and now giant Mobile Suit Gundam mechas are now being piloted by high schoolers because they need to save the world. Because of course, only high schoolers can do it.
That's how it always is. Only high school
Exactly.
students can save the world.
Extra is interesting, but it's not doing anything crazy. But it is an interesting take on that world. Here's the crazy part, which makes alternative interesting, but you have to play the first two to have any sort of connection to that world.
How well does it run on the Vita? That's my real question, though.
Perfect. They're literally the only port of it that exists outside of PC, so you would hope they're
really
perfect. Yeah, they're only on Vita.
That's the only port?
Yeah, it's PC and Vita only.
All right, well, how much is this game?
I need to... I don't think they're that expensive. You're
overproduced it.
I need to do a video on that one of these days because there's a really interesting story about how that game actually kept getting almost canceled. Of like companies just didn't want to release it in the West. It had a really tough production.
They're not that expensive at all.
No, yeah. It was a late release.
Like that's a cheap Vita for a late release Vita game. Mm-hmm. You can get both of them sealed for $100.
Muv-Luv Alternative is, check this out. It is a what if story of what if you went back in time and basically you failed your mission at saving the world. So you went back in time and everything is so much worse and so much darker and you lost the war. You lost the war. Characters die. Characters become brutally murdered by aliens. Like they're straight up like even in the original like PC release, there is just like straight up like girls you went to high school with being mutilated by aliens in front of you to their death. It's very grim, very dark, very serious, but it's really interesting. There's nothing like it out there. It's absolutely crazy. But like you can't just jump into that because it's like you would have who is this random big boob girl?
You wouldn't care about.
You had to meet her when she was just a boring high schooler. You had to grow that connection.
Speaking of boring high school connections, like Shin Megami Tensei 5 expects me to care about characters that I've like literally seen for one scene.
Damn. Listen, I'm just saying SMT5 doesn't excel at character development, but it excels at certain character development. Like if you beat Shin Megami Tensei 5 and tell me that you don't love that rapscallion blonde kid with the baseball hat, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm sure I will at some point. I've been so distracted by everything else.
Can you believe that game is almost a year old?
I should have beaten it by now, but I'm trying to get my platinum for Persona 4 Golden, and there's no platinum or
that is priority. That's a priority. By the time you beat it, there will be a version of the SMT5 with trophies, I bet.
You think it'll be on PlayStation?
Oh, I know it'll be on PlayStation. It's just a matter of when. Like Game Awards, I'm already locking it in.
You're expecting SMT5 to come to? Do you think it'll come to the Steam Deck?
Well, it's coming to PC first. It'll be all right. So there's two things about this. It's coming to PC
because it's Unreal Engine 4.
Atlas has been offered money, and I bet you they will take it for 6 to 12 months of Epic Game Store exclusivity.
That would make me so angry.
But it's free money. Why would they not take it, you know?
No, it'd be dumb to not take it. Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, Epic Games paid them to put it on Unreal Engine. Like, why wouldn't they want to buy it in their store?
So, PC, I know, is coming within, like, just a matter of months. Like, that port's basically been locked in for a while.
I mean, it doesn't take much. It's Unreal Engine.
Yep. So, the only other thing
People are already emulating this
When
Switch
do
version.
Console versions come? Because I know there's nothing stopping them. The only thing that could stop them from not putting it on consoles is Atlas wanting to do an enhanced version.
Oh god!
Or because from everything I've been told, they just want to port it. They don't want to make like a expanded edition to it with like new content.
So, do you have any insight as to why Atlas always wants to expand every game instead of just porting it?
It's more money.
Well, no, I mean it is, but like. You could probably make that same money just multi-porting it.
I think now you can make a case that porting it, like the money they put into making Royal a PS4 exclusive, they probably could have made as much on Switch and everything else. But the thing to remember about Royal was made by a really tiny team. It was really low budget, and Sony paid for it to be a PlayStation exclusive for many years.
Clearly, those years have run up, though.
No, yeah. So it's like Atlas is the type that like Persona 6. I'm still fully expecting to be an exclusive, just because they will take that exclusivity money and just stretch releasing it out everywhere else as much as they can because they know they don't have to. Like, hence why we've seen stuff like Soul Hackers. It's not a priority to put it on Switch.
Right. Right. I wonder if Nintendo. I bet it would have sold really well on Switch. Actually,
Hey man, I'm fully give it 4 to 5 months. I'm betting on March it'll be on there by then.
you think so?
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like that'd be a pretty easy one
See,
to put
I'm
on
still
there.
waiting for Atlas to take the Apple money and like put it on Apple Arcade.
And clearly they got burned by SMT1, so I don't know.
I mean, that was years ago. Like, you would think they're really still worried about that?
That would be funny if Apple came to them and they were like, "Give us a port of Persona 3 Portable." I bet that would actually work really well on iPhone.
That would probably actually. There is a PSP emulator on the iPhone. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can sideload it, and then you can play PSP games on your iPhone.
I don't want to disappoint the ghost of Steve Jobs, though, so I wouldn't do that to him.
No, I mean sideloading is a totally Apple does not block it. There's no jailbreak that's required for that.
So this may come as a surprise to you, sir. Although honestly, it's later in the night for you. I may have to start winding this down because I have been up for a hot minute hosting. Family was over, and it is 10:40 right now for me, and I feel like I just got hit by a truck, and I've only drank this much.
Well, I mean, I'm too deep right now, so if we need to end this soon, we can end it soon. So let's get to this last question. Okay. Which platform do you think Atlas will make the most money on with the Persona series?
Overall, or like with ports or new titles?
With the 3 ports.
Oh, with the 3 ports? Oh, that's really tough. Okay, are we talking?
I think the Switch, unless we have to ask, Steam sales.
Are we talking sales or profit?
Both.
Profit, Xbox, because I recently found out how much money they got paid by Microsoft to put those Xbox ports. Holy fuck, that was a lot of money. I can't say what it was, but it's a lot. Like, it was to the point where when I was told it, I was told, if you say what it is, we'll know because no one else knows. But it's like it was if I told you, because I mean obviously Persona 5 is the bigger one, but it is funny if like they paid in the upper six-figure digits for a PSP and a Vita game is so fucking funny to me. But yeah, they shelled out big time. Xbox is where they're going to make a lot of their money. Long-term sales, 100%. Switch, yeah. PlayStation 5.
Switch?
Yeah, PlayStation 5 is too early on. I think PlayStation 4 is going to do really well, especially in Japan for Persona 3 and 4.
Probably.
Switch just it's too much of a beast in terms of worldwide, and like I just can't like. At least because right now the release timing in January I think is perfect for 3 and 4. I actually didn't love the release timing for P5, especially with how many other games it was releasing around and in between. But it's Persona 5. It's going to have legs. They put this one out first for a reason because like they know.
Well, yeah, they want to get the hooks into all these new fans.
Exactly.
We'll then go back and play 4. Although I'm surprised at how quickly after 5 comes out they're doing 4 and 3.
You gotta remember though, like I was saying for years, 4 and 3 have been done a while. They have been like, so when I saw 3 and 4 coming early 2023, I was like, okay, that's going to be really early. Like I would have been surprised if it was after
I was expecting March. March.
So like for me, well, clearly now we know March is going to be Soul Hackers on Switch. So that's going to be the moneymaker on that one.
No, it'll be Persona Q 1 and 2 bundle.
It's got to come out eventually. Man.
The only thing that's holding back Persona Q is like how they did the map system. That's the only thing I can think of.
Listen, that team is scrappy. I believe in them. They can do it.
I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying I think that's the only thing they would have to figure out ahead of time.
Excuse me. Oh my God. I really feel like I got hit by a sleepy truck in the last 15 minutes.
I think you're right. I think the Switch probably the most money. But the thing is, the longevity of Steam and the fact that Steam is like one platform forever.
Steam longevity is real, but its longevity is prolonged by deep discounted sales. So that's why I'm thinking number of copies. Yeah, by the 20 years from now, it'll be Steam. It'll be Switch. It'll be PC. But
that's what I like about Steam.
Profitability has to be Switch at least for now.
The nice thing about owning things on Steam though is Steam is forever, unless it's Ubisoft.
If Steam ever got nuked somehow, and like got out of existence, Good Old Games would probably have a field day and would probably just become somehow they would just not stop tweeting about it. I would imagine for years.
You would just be crying like how nice this Fest port is. This Fest port is so freaking good. But I can't believe how well it plays.
It's a PS2 game. I would hope a mod would do good because it's very stylized.
I mean, Persona 3 on the Steam Deck is like a match made in heaven. Like, I'm actually probably going to play that, but I'm also going to get portable, so like I don't feel bad about it.
You know what it needs? Steam achievements. That would make it much better.
Yes, I don't know if they're going to put. Are they going to put Steam? Because there's not a requirement to put Steam achievements in.
Oh yeah, they're in there. Yeah, Steam achievements are in 4. They'll be in 3.
The real question is, did they leave Ultimate or Hardcore Reset Fan in there?
I asked recently just for you. It's still in there.
I'm joking. I have
the only thing
I already have
the only thing that I will say is this: that trophy is so bad that they could sell DLC for like $5 to unlock it for you, and I bet people would do it.
At this point, I might consider that.
Like, it's one of those things that, like, that is just such a unfun trophy.
Oh, I have one last thing that we need to talk about. Okay, this is something that has bothered me forever. Okay, Persona 5 had cloud saving between PS4 and PS3. Where is cloud saving between PS4 and PS5? I can't imagine it's harder. Yeah, I mean, that's the only copy that does that.
Even says it smart delivery and cross save. Got your cross save, got your cross upload automatic. Although you got to do the Windows Store version, but
the only thing that's sad about that is with Persona 5 on the PS3 and PS4 was you had to buy the DLC twice if you wanted to sync the save.
That was weird. Yeah, like they had save transfer. I will say though, I actually used the online.
I have it.
I used the online save slot when I didn't have PlayStation Plus. I remember, and I needed to transfer from a PS4 to another one. So I remember using that on there. The DLC one was weird, but honestly, like the PlayStation 4 to 5, I get not wanting to give people a free upgrade. Maybe a discount would have been nice. 60, whatever. You're not the first. You're not going to be the last company to charge for basically a thing they could have patched. They could have patched that into the game. But like the cross save, there's no reason not to.
Oh,
there's
100%.
Literally no reason at all.
It would have been so easy to do that unless they like Sony specifically said like,
no,
we don't want
that chance. I'm going to tell you this right now. I bet you there's not a single person who worked on that game who thought to themselves, hey, should we remove the PlayStation Vita from this port? Nah, just leave it in there. Not a single person. Because people don't even remember this. In Persona 5, there's straight up a PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
You can see a fully modeled PlayStation 3 in all versions of this game.
Honestly, I love the fact that I can still play Persona 5 on my PS3.
I gotta get that. That's actually one of those weird ones I don't own. I don't own a PS3 copy of Persona 5.
You don't? It's actually getting harder and harder to find, actually.
There's a couple of stores near me that have it. I think that's probably why I'm not that hurried for it. Of like, that's one of like, I will never overpay for that. But of like, if I ever ran into it, it was like $20.
It's actually more expensive right now than what I paid for it.
I bet. I mean, they didn't.
I think
They made one print run of that. They never. That was their Breath of the Wild on Wii U. They knew.
I have that too.
They only released that because they were contractually obligated.
You know how sad it is that I have the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild and the DLC on the Wii U.
Only for the fact that it's worth to wear a Nintendo Switch shirt on the Wii U. That's the best part about it. Now, I just realized this. Is your beanie actually orange?
Yes.
Is it on purpose because it looks like the fish is wearing the beanie? Not the fish, the krill.
My wife made this.
She killed it. Knocked it out of the park.
She made this really, yeah, she did this thing. This is never before revealed on the CHRILLCAST. My wife made it. This is a newer one. I've been wearing it more recently. I had to actually readjust.
We need to
my
get her to
entire
like
green screen.
crochet some like krill eyes on it, maybe an antenna or two.
Just put some googly eyes right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I paid brand new for Persona 5. So here's the funny thing: I bought Persona 5 on PS3 twice. So I bought it originally. I played it on the PS3 for like, I don't know, one palace, and then sold my PS3 to GameStop and got the PS4 version.
The classic Persona 5 experience. Kamoshida, sell it, don't ever touch it again.
and then when I bought a PS3 again, I actually paid less money than I did the first time because I paid $30 used at GameStop back when I got my PS3 version, and then I sold that back to GameStop for probably $1. And because they gave me my PS4 for like $50, I got a PS4 Pro for $50. I traded in my PS3. It was really cool. I don't know why they gave that deal to me, but then I traded in my accessories and games to get that last $50 off, which was the stupidest thing I ever did. Long story short, now I have the backwards compatible PS3, which is what I always wanted, and I went and got the Persona 5 version on Amazon, brand new for like $12.
Is it the 60 gig or the 80 gig?
It is.
Or the 20 gig?
It is a terabyte because it's got.
Well, okay. What was it supposed to be?
It was the 60.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so that's the good one.
I got the OG.
I always had the 80 gig, which I always appreciated because it had the 4 USB slots, but then I didn't know at the time that it was only emulating PS2 software, so there were games I couldn't play.
Well, it's only partially emulating. Did you know that? So
well, listen, all I knew is that I bought Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories the day it came out in 2008. I popped it into my PS3, and it literally I returned that game 5 times, thinking I kept getting wrong copies because it was like, who was expecting to ship a broken PS2 game emulated on a PS3? So like that was such a weird issue, especially in 2008. Of like the game ran, the game worked. But after you beat the tutorial boss fight, it never triggered the next animation. So you just had to when you were stuck in the tutorial.
So, technically speaking, the PS3 80 gig BC model had one of the 2 processing units in it. I can't remember if it's the CPU or GPU, but the original backwards compatible PS3 had both. I think it was the CPU was missing. Had both CPU and GPU of PS2. The newer version, the one you had, only had one of them. I think it was just the GPU. And so it only emulated like the normal processes, not the graphics.
Yep.
So that's where you got screwed. Yeah. Talk about Sony making a super consumer positive move and then totally backtracking on it.
Listen, at the time though, like even now, the PlayStation 3, like the backwards compatible ones, are some of the most amazing backwards compatible systems we've ever seen.
Other than what Microsoft has done with straight up emulation, that's probably the second best.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I just thought I'd ask you that question. I think the cloud saving is super
I'm
cool.
always here to talk about some PS3. That's my time because that's when I finally had that's when I felt invested in a generation. I think probably due to the fact that I bought that with my own money.
Same here. I bought the PS3. So here, actually, what happened with me? The reason I got this will be the last story, I promise, and we'll call it.
I don't believe you.
My brother, when he went off to college, took the Xbox 360 with him, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I don't have a console at the house now." Like,
how can I play Forge?
So I went to GameStop and I was gonna buy an Xbox 360. Like I was completely invested. I was gonna buy a 360, and the guy's like, "No, what you really want is this PS3 over here." And I was like, "But I want Halo." And he's like, "No, you want Infamous." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and I bought this PS3 off the GameStop employees, ID. He's like, "This is what you want." I'm like, "Okay." So I took it home. I put it in Infamous, and I have been hooked to PlayStation ever since. So,
thank you, random GameStop employee.
He convinced me.
Little do you know that was actually Cole McGrath himself just told you.
Jason Statham sold it to me. The guy that basically Infamous is
European Jason Statham.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, Spencer, I appreciate your time, and I don't want to waste it. And I know you got to go do your thing.
You can't waste time that's already being wasted by me, so don't worry about it. I appreciate being productive, chatting with you, getting my CHRILLCAST on, and everyone, thank you for listening, whether it was live or after the fact.
And make sure y'all come back for a Twin Peaks podcast from us.
One of these days.
We are going to do it.
It'll be Chris, me, and David Lynch himself.
You know how much I would pay to have him on the podcast?
I don't think he, I think if you explained Cameo to David Lynch, he would just be like, sounds like a fucking stupid idea made by queers.
I love his agent in the frickin' Twin Peaks lore. Like, that is the best David Lynch.
It's one of the rare instances of self-insertion of a character that isn't stupid or annoying.
Yeah. Well, it is annoying, but you get used to it.
Well, yeah, I get.
Like,
I find David Lynch as a character, as a person, very funny. Probably more than I should.
Do you know how long it took me to realize that? Like,
that's not a fake voice. That's actually just how he talks.
Yeah, it took me so freaking long.
Have you ever seen, honestly, there's a lot of them out there, but there's just compilations of David Lynch in interviews.
And he just talks like that.
Yeah, well, it's great because you get his opinion on a lot of things. Like one of my favorite David Lynch quotes. I'll pull it up so I can try and say it, but it's him talking about watching movies on a phone. And it's it's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
Because I used to watch movies on an iPod 5th gen video a long time ago.
Here you go. Let's get this full quote here so I don't mess it up. Here we go. If you're playing the movie on a telephone, you've never in a trillion years experienced the film. You think you've experienced it, but you've been cheated. It's sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking phone. Get real.
That's totally a David Lynch quote. He's the only person that would say it like that.
It's like, David Lynch, I watched Mulholland Drive on my UMD, my PSP. Does this count as cinema?
I want the full Twin Peaks printed on a UMD.
That would imagine if there's a UMD copy of Fire Walk with Me. What a curse to the
dude!
God.
I want to know. Now I gotta know.
There's some weird ones. Like there's a European only version. They did all 8 Harry Potter movies on UMDs only in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even play it on my. Well, I guess I probably
Isn't that weird? That's like the only thing that's region locked are the UMD movies.
Well, it's same with Game Boy Advance TV carts.
True, but I mean,
right,
no, I do not see any David Lynch movies on UMD.
All right, well, I got to get a UMD printer, and
God, imagine if you could just make your own. Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Blue Velvet Special Edition did get a UMD release.
Oh, jeez.
This was European only. Very unsurprising. Just to put this into a realization, there's also a VHS version on Amazon for $1.
Yeah, I mean, the only VHS tape worth owning, well, the only one that I personally want is the original cartoon version of The Hobbit. I love that stupid cartoon.
That's a good one. I'm surprised it actually didn't get a UMD.
Also, I want, what was it? The original version of Star Wars where Han shoots first. Those are the VHS.
This is a hard drive article. Do you know what the hard drive is?
Isn't that like the Babel or like what is it? Not Babylon Bee. It's kind of like that, like a satire site.
Yeah, you'll appreciate this. Sony and Criterion announcing they're teaming up to release the entire Criterion collection on PSP UMDs. Can you imagine Criterion collection UMDs?
No.
That's so funny.
It ain't gonna happen. All right. Well, on that note, Spencer, let's cut this short of 2 hours.
It's a solid 2 hours.
Make sure you guys subscribe. YouTube.com/Torchwood4SP.
Also, just subscribe to David Lynch. He has a great YouTube channel. He uploads twice a day, daily.
Does he actually do that?
Every day he does a
He's a
weather
good
report.
morning or whatever.
He does a weather report and a number of the day.
Yeah, I did see that once. I didn't realize he actually uploaded
he sends
that.
it to like his intern or agent or daughter, and they just post it on there, and it's one of the best things ever.
Yeah, definitely go do that. But as always, I'm not David Lynch. I'm Chris.
And I'm Spencer.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Twin Peaks. Bye, guys. I hope we get on. It'll be amazing.
I think how did Twin Peaks end? Like, what was the